de-dollarization of the international economy is gaining momentum. This is spearheaded by powerful countries like China and Russia. At the recent state visits by Chinese President Xi Jinping in Russia, President Vladimir Putin indicated that they are in favor of using Chinese currency for trade in other parts of the world, like Africa, Asia and Latin America. The Kremlin has been slapped with a raft of sanctions by the Western world for invading Ukraine.
Для нас была и остается тематика торгово-экономического взаимодействия.
A serious incentive for the development of trade and investment cooperation is the expansion of the practice of settlements between our countries in national currencies. According to the results of the first 3 quarters of last year, the share of ruble and yuan in mutual commercial transactions reached 65% and continues to grow, which allows us to protect mutual trade from the influence of third countries and negative trends in global currency markets.
Отметку в 200 миллиардов долларов.
Another BRICS country, India, has indicated that it's putting into place a mechanism for international trade settlements in rupees. The Indian currency will allow New Delhi to bypass using the US dollar in case of sanctions. India is also a major buyer of Russian arms, and Indian refineries have started paying for most of their Russian oil in other currencies rather than the US dollar. Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto has unveiled a plan to deal with the dollar crisis.
As a government, we have made innovative intentions and undertaken innovative strategy to ensure that we ease the burden of availability of dollar in our market. We just concluded last week an arrangement, a market-driven arrangement in our fuel sector that will see Kenya access all our fuel needs on a deferred 6-month credit. That will eliminate a demand of $500 million every month from this market. And therefore, for the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses.
So guys, welcome again to the WSXM podcast. I don't know, tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know everything about this video in the comment section and then we'll talk about it. Anyway, let's continue. So here you see the president. Before getting that, when America put sanctions on Russia, I guarantee you they didn't expect this response. They thought it would have crushed the Russian economy. They'd have give up long time on it, but the opposite happened. It drives country that doesn't like America together. China, Russia, Iran, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and all these other countries, and include South Africa as well, and the continent of Africa. But because the US dollar is a dominant currency in reserve globally, but now that is a shift happening because Saudi Arabia no longer take strictly US dollars for the petrodollar, which is, the petrodollar is what means they only accept US dollars for the oil. But now they're accepting gold from Ghana, from Africa. They're accepting the Indian rupee from India, and they're accepting the Chinese money, the Ramadan. And interestingly enough, the IMF have a currency bucket, like it's called the SDR. The SDR doesn't make, let me see, I have it here. The SDR is a special drawing right. It's like, it's an abbreviation for the, it's like you have 6 currency. You have the US, the Euro, US, let me get, I have it here. The US currency, the Euro dollar, the Japanese yen, the British pound, and the Chinese one, which is, remember, the renminbi is the Chinese currency. That's the name. So any one of these currency in the IMF will trade and exchange in between these countries so they can get whether the US, the Euro, or. But now, this is what the BRICS gonna also do. The BRICS gonna get a basket of different currencies. They can trade between each other. Then they're gonna forego the US dollars because this de-dollarization going on, it's a global thing. You have a lot of economists saying this, that the US dollar gonna lose its ground as a global reserve economy, because countries are now coming to grips that America can sanction anyone they want without provocation, without cost, and they don't have to explain nothing to no one. And then now you put that country economy in a nosedive, and it can cause instability, and civil war can break out in these countries. And this is what's going on right now. But with the BRICS currency, the BRICS and the BRICS currency that are going to launch very soon, you have India is no longer accepting only US dollars for the oil. Iran just don't do away with the US dollar currency. Saudi Arabia is doing away with the US currency as well. And whenever time you see Saudi Arabia started to accept the BRICS currency, or the Indian rupee, or the Chinese Ramadan. Remember, don't forget, the Indian rupee just become global as well, because they just sign a deal with a company where they can go online and do, forget the name of it, when they can trade between currencies and globally with the Indian rupee, so they don't need to buy US currency anymore. And as I say, Kenya join in this, as the Kenyan president said. They put things in place, and they see how much money they are saving monthly. 500 million US dollars they are saving monthly by not spending US dollar, by just spending their own currency, or getting the Indian rupee, or using gold to trade for things they need. So that's what I'm saying. When you see America now come and say they're gonna sanction a country, it won't have that grip, that bite. Notice all these countries who are having issue right now with the currency: Zimbabwe, Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, all the countries that stood up again recently and who is neutral in the Ukraine war, all of a sudden the economy is doing horribly and the currencies keep dropping. Why? Because the US is using their currency to manipulate the market for these countries to lose value in their currency. But what is saving these countries right now, these African countries, like for instance Ghana is now using gold for oil, so they don't need to exchange their currency to get the US to in turn buy oil. So they cut out the middleman with that. Zimbabwe launched a gold coin that you can trade now, so it stopped the money from sliding against the dollar. Kenya as well gonna be trading gold for oil. East Africa on a whole, they're gonna have this one currency soon, and some Western countries just announced that all the francs that they're using, all the French colonized countries are doing away with the franc, which is doesn't serve them no good, but it serves the euro, and they're gonna switch to one currency and a new currency, so that will help them to grow. Great things are going on in the continent right now, so keep an eye out, keep an ear out, and I'll always leave you guys know what's going on. So anyway, thanks for watching. You don't know, it's a Washington SXM podcast. Don't know. Peace, one love, boom.